Standing at 6,000 feet long, the Tacoma Narrows Bridge is the 5th longest suspending bridge in the United States. Famous for its dramatic swing and its collapse in 1940, this bridge carried thousands of people every single day. Despite its careful architecture, this bridge had a faulty foundation. It went unseen, but it was so ever present. This led to its eventual collapse. Now, imagine our world in a similar light, built on pillars of injustice and instability. Today, as we unscrew the bolts of our bridge of a world layer by layer, we will not only understand and discover these faults in our foundation, but expose them. How can we construct a world where our foundation is just as strong as we project it to be? The best place to start is learning from history. The term caste derives from a Spanish and Portuguese origin. It refers to a formal structure of social, political, and economic way of treating all people. For example, in colonial India, British colonizers had a system where people of a higher caste were set to be in charge of a set amount of land, and people of a lower caste worked under their purview. While these policies were abolished and all of the land was returned to the people of the lower caste in the 1970s, the oppressive remnants of these practices still linger across the nation. It often goes unseen that these systems, policies, and rules are an unwanted foundation of how we see society today, whether we like it or not. It often goes unseen that it affects us all. It often goes unseen that above a lack of opportunity that these things resist us from is a lack of control. Antigua is a tropical island that has beautiful beaches and an even more beautiful culture. It was colonized by Great Britain for a whopping 349 years. England was pressurized by a lot of external pressure to release them as a colony. Antigua, granted its new independence rather abruptly, was forced to establish a government rather quickly. Previously, it was exposed to a political landscape that featured a lot of centralized power, which made them prone to corruption. They also had to rebuild industries like medicine. With no proper personnel and facilities, they weren't able to provide care that they could have. So why am I shining light on this? While these issues persist in countries like Antigua and India, they are just as prominent in nations all around the globe, including here in the United States. It just often goes unseen. For example, corporate exploitation. Things like electronics and clothing lines are seen and noted as innovation, economic contributions, and mandatory in our society. But there's a sugar-coated reality underneath this truth. Millions of people in my generation are so quick to fold to things like trends and fast fashion, but aren't aware of the true reality that lies beneath this. From labor exploitation to environmental degradation, education systems all over the globe are sanitizing the way that our future generation is learning about history. It often goes unseen that these pillars of society, from racism to social injustice, are an unwanted foundation of our society, whether we like it or not. It often goes unseen that it affects us all. But there's still hope. Effective change requires a multifaceted approach to solution. As a community, we can completely redefine this meeting. This is your call to action, to help change these pillars of shadow into pillars of light. It often goes unseen, but we have the power to ensure that future generations of this world can build a community where justice and equality are not just an ideal, but a reality. Thank you so much.